Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, where it's our show where we review things in the world of television, whether it's, doing shows season by season or episode by episode, which we're about to start today with our brand new review series. We'll be reviewing every episode in the second season of Reacher. About 2 years ago, we reviewed the first season of Reacher, full spoilers, definitive review style, because I like the show a lot, and I was honestly like, you know what, if this is like a new binge tradition in the future when the show does come back, it'd be fun. But this season they opted, because the show was so popular back when it first started, that they were going to like do a weekly drop for these episodes, which I'm like, I'm in, and I very much love that first season. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna review every episode of season 2 because I love talking about it. I love talking about Reacher. I've tried to pitch some of my friends on the show. They're not reach, but you know what? I'm very happy the way that it has it's gone in the atmosphere. Where like again, like it's very hard nowadays to like really get shows to get to a certain level. And the thing is that Prime Video, I think, is slowly amassing their own catalog of like great material with The Boys, Invincible, and I think Reacher is one of them. Reacher's well up there. It was renewed for season 2 very relatively quickly, back when the season 1 premiered back in 2021. So now going to the end of 2023. Actually, was it beginning of 2021? No, I think it was beginning of 2022. I forgot. I completely forgot what the timetables are. But regardless of what I'm saying, it's been a while. We're immediately back into it. It's like no time has passed. And really, just to kind of get into it. Also, just a fun fact: I literally was recording for like 15 minutes on the episode review. Then I realized my audio was muted, so I was like kind of pissed. But I'm like, you know what? The show must go on. The show must go on, because this episode was so really, really damn good. I really liked it. I already love season 1 for the way it is, for being such a unique story, where like it's not your traditional, like hero on a journey, hero on a mission type of thing. Now, it's just a man who had lived the life. He's just ready to kind of like, delve into his retirement period of just wandering the great old United States of America, just kind of doing his own thing, maybe helping out people online, like Lone Ranger type of thing. And then, then he just has to like get gallivant into this like larger story. And then, that's kind of how he gets involved here. And that entire incident from season 1 was like over 2 years ago. So what has Reacher been up to? Nothing really. He's just kind of been doing the same old shit. And that makes it interesting, mind you, where like, I feel like it's kind of been cliche. It's like, oh, the main character's been doing something since the events of like the last season or the last movie that we need to like get a whole big catch up on it, which I'm like, in this case, not really. He even talks about it in a scene where like he went to a baseball game. Like, there's nothing interesting. He's just a man who just likes to see the world, likes to see things with his own eyes, his own perspective, and that's kind of it. That really is kind of like the life he lives, and it's not a bad thing to do. It really isn't. And that kind of like gives way to like the beginning of season 2, where season 1 was more about him like setting up the character in general. What is he? Who is he as a person? What are his stances? What makes him tick? And this season is more like figuring out more about his past, figuring out more about what really he holds for value, like the people that he does allow into his life. There's a lot of great mysteries about that still, a lot, because when you have like such an interesting yet quiet character, it just makes you think, oh, what has his past life been? What did he do to like kind of bend to that moment? And this season kind of like allows us to like fill in more of that puzzle piece as we progress forward. So with this first episode, I think they did an absolutely great job to bring us back into the world of Reacher, introduce us to a new cast of characters, but still got that Reacher shirt, if not better. I think this is so far is like doing much better than the first season, and the first season was already great as is. So you like really hit gold if you're able to like top yourself, which was already a gold level season. Well, with that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Reacher. So we begin, we're in the airs of Catskills, which I've been to before, which is honestly a very quiet area, very, very quiet area. And then immediately you just see a guy fall out of a helicopter, dying upon impact, which I'm like, damn. As a man who was actually skydived a few months ago, that must be the scariest shit ever, where like you're literally falling from the air, like the cold air, like, going to but in this case you have no parachute, you're literally just like landing plump first into the ground, which I'm like, I feel sorry for the dude. I really do feel sorry. And he is Drew from Degrassi. He has another name, but like I already forgot the name. But So yeah, he's dead. We pass back over to Reacher, who's somewhere. I want to say somewhere in the Midwest or somewhere around there. Who the hell knows? He's trying to purchase some new clothes. It's laundry day for him, which means he's dropping his old clothes, buying new clothes, going on his merry way because the man refuses to do laundry and saving a couple dollars or two. He has a little bit of a snafu with the cashier who says like, yeah, look, like, sorry, sign that says like, half off this week, we forgot to take it down, so it's full price. Which in the world of retail, if you forget to take down a price point sign, you have to honor it. You can take it down afterward, but you have to get the customer who noticed it at least the full deal. So leave that as may be. So yeah, so Reacher decides to avoid a quarrel, even though this cashier doesn't really give a shit about anything that's going on in her job. He goes across the street to get some money. He notices this woman in front of him trembling, kind of like taking out large amounts of cash and like kind of, a little bit worse for wear. Jack instantly concludes like, "You've been robbed?" She's like, "Yeah." Guys in your car? "Yeah." Your son's in the back seat? She's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Give me a minute." So literally Reacher, in the most badass thing I've ever seen in like, I think this year, he takes off his jacket, punches the window, grabs the guy, punches him again, like literally like forces him out of the car, and then crushes his rib cage with the door. And I'm just like, that is something fucking brutal yet hilarious at the same time. And like, I'm pretty sure this guy's gonna have like a massive recovery period if he does survive this. So the kids reunited with his mom. The mom wants to take Reacher, but he's like, call the cops, take the gun, leave me out of it. I'm just a good Samaritan. You will literally never see me again in your life. He goes over back to the ATM, does his little withdrawal, but he notices something weird with his account balance, so he immediately calls over Neagley from last season, his confidant, his relatively only connection back to the real outside world of like, well, not the outside world, like his life before the outside world. And she tells him the bad news that one of their old teammates is dead and that he needs to come to New York right now, which he does. So immediately heads over to New York City, which I'm like, goddamn, like so many great shows can happen in New York City. We had Walking Dead, Dead City this year. Now we have this season. So I'm like, again, loving the New York City representation. Really, really, really loving it. Immediately hops over on the first flight there. Meets up with Neagley at a diner. He gets caught up back on the whole case. Drew from Degrassi was a PA after leaving the special investigators. Had a wife and kid. That's about it. Trying to keep it simplistic. Neagley tries to reach out to the other members of the team, but they're not picking up their phones. So it's just Reacher right now. Reacher's kind of getting caught up with some of the other members of the special investigators, and obviously Reacher asked the age-old question: why wasn't I invited? Where was my invitation to the wedding, to the funeral? And she's like, would you really have came? And he's like, no. Which I'm like, that is the most blunt answer. We're like, the man kind of feels left up, but at the same time, oh yeah, I don't really care. Which I'm like, again, the delivery, shout out to Alan Richardson, who has like made this character his own so much. Only like, 9 episodes into his time as the character, already killing it. We then get into, so they decide to team up to kind of, pick up to figure out where, what happened to Drew from Degrassi. So they get in the car, but even like Reacher, always like a man, like the most observant man on the planet. He immediately knows it's like black sedan, like parked not that too far away from them. Like that's kind of like a little sus, little sus in my opinion. Not entirely too kind-hearted to say the least. They head over to his widow's house. They talk to her. She's like kind of giving the same spiel she gets to the police that they wanted a trip with she wanted a trip with her son. He stayed home alone, wasn't picking up the phone. She got really concerned because in fact, this is not how he usually is. He's a very caring, very loving man, always answers the phone for them. So she immediately decides to return back from the trip early, finds the entire house ransacked, nothing stolen, but he's gone. And, again, that was the last time she ever heard of anything until later on when they found the body. So the only thing that she can really give to them is the key to his office space. But again, it wouldn't offer them any luck considering the fact that the police already checked. They found nothing. They share little imparting words of, hope for the son who's just busy coloring away on the table, like literally oblivious to the fact his dad is gone. Which, again, I feel sorry for him. Like, he's definitely going to feel down the road, which I'm like, damn, like, no one should have their parent taken away from them that young. Really can't approve of that. Well, again, it happens in life, but, like, I really don't like that. It's not fair to them. So they resume back to the office. Richard kind of points out to the fact that like, yeah, there's this black car kind of following us for a little bit, and Neely's like, don't worry about it. There's like it's New York City. There's a bunch of black sedans around, which I'm like, I don't know. Richard, knows his stuff. Speaking of which, we kind of have a flashback back to when they were in the army, when Reacher first assembled the special investigators. Very a ragtag team of different people from different units, all assigned to this place. Apparently, Reacher was assigned by the government, by the army, to make a team, a special covert op, just specifically for very, very dangerous missions that very much normal soldiers cannot do. They're a little bit like again, like it's any sort of team. Like, we don't have a tight knit foundation. They're kind of just like already like up against each other's throats and everything, because clashes in ideals, clashes in personalities. Reacher notices all this, and he's like, you know what, let's go get a beer. So they go get that beer. It's the most awkward shit on the planet, where like they're all just like sitting around a big table, not really talking to one another. Someone's just trying to find an excuse to leave. It's not really working. Reacher has a bit of a talk with Neely, who was part of the team by then, just in a different rank and different position. One of the officers from the local police department, this is a cop bar, notices Neely, tells her to leave, considering the fact she's not welcome there. For whatever reason, I really don't know, but Reacher decides, you know what, that's disrespectful. Don't mess with my friends, and if you don't back down right now, you're really gonna get it. And this guy's like, what? And again, number one rule: when a tall, brawly guy that's like taller than you and more muscular than you approaches you, there's a reason why they're tall and muscular. Well, mostly muscular. Stand away. He does not do so. He learns the hard way that you stay out of someone else's business, and he gets thrown out the window. So this entire moment kind of gives the special investigator, kind of like, that brief spark, like, yeah, we are friends. We can be like a family. We can be a unit. They're all having fun, joshing around, grabbing a drink somewhere in like a nearby woods, eating hot dogs of all things. And they're all having fun. They're just, out shooting the shit. Everything's going well. It's kind of like the foundational beginnings of Reacher and Neely's friendship. For the special investigators as well. They take a group photo, and they're like, yeah, it's all good times. It's all very much good, happy times before, obviously, the reality of war, and also like just life after the army, kind of just seeps in for all of them. So Reacher and Neely head over to the office, similar to what the wife tell them. It's already been looted, ransacked, and the police already checked the entire area, so there's nothing really new they could possibly find. But Neely points out that there was a lot of smaller objects specifically broken, indicating that there was something that was what's the word? That was small, that whoever took Drew from Degrassi, whatever it was they were really looking for is pretty small, and they're just trying to figure out where it is. They eventually realize on the keychain that they were giving is a PO box key. And there's, ironically, a mailing office outside, but sadly it's already closed for the day, so they decide to head back to the hotel, shoot the shit a little bit, like, kind of really catch up on things. Apparently, Neely's done well in the past couple of years. She's kind of been promoted in her firm, so she's really doing well for herself. She's getting a lot of money. That's why she was able to, like, kind of float all of Reacher's expenses so far, and Reacher, being the stoic man he is, it's still like, yeah, I appreciate all that, but I'm gonna pay you back. I'm gonna get my deposit in a couple of weeks, so I'll get you your money back. And Neely's like, no, you don't have to. It's just doing this for as a gift, as a favor. And Reacher's like, nah, I'm somehow make this all square with you somehow. Which I'm like, oh god, that don't say it like that. So don't say, I'm expecting something bad to happen to Neely before the season's over. They josh around a little bit more, talk about the old days. Apparently that Reacher had like a little bit of a crush on one of their fellow members, and they never done anything, but it's kind of apparent Reacher had a thing for her. So yeah, but they never really did anything physically or relationship wise with that. So they kind of left it be on that. Next day comes around. This mysterious guy from the airport arrives into the country, which I'm like, okay, why are we spending a little bit too much time with this person? I don't know why specifically. Because he's got his own agenda going around. He gets into the United States. He's boarding another flight. He gets a fake passport. He kills the guy who makes the fake passport. Again, what is the entire motive of this? I really don't know. But considering the fact we got a few scenes of him that he's going to be a part of down the road for the story. The next tank comes around. They apparently cannot really go in there without knowing what the PO box is, because, like, you know, if you're just like jiggling around the keys like to random boxes, that people are just going to assume that, yeah, you're this ain't your box, so how'd you get this key? And, you know, they're going to have problems. So Reach is like, okay, well, he's a PI. He probably would get a lot of mail, so he would need one of the big boxes. It would be on the right side because he's dominated. Again, Reacher being so smart, like, it's not just brawn he has, it's brains, which I'm like, damn, the man's like a total catch. Like, at some point in this show, he's going to fall in love with someone. He's going to debate, like, giving up his entire lifestyle for her because, you know, that's just how he is. But that's his guess, however. So Neekly throws a distraction while Reacher finds the P.O. box. It contains a bunch of letters and everything, and it does come with a flash drive, but the port is a very old one, so Neekly has to go out and find an adapter for her to use for her laptop. Reacher decides to take the car, considering the fact that, yeah, my suspicions are true. Whatever the people that are after this drive, whoever killed Drew from Degrassi, means serious business. So, best case scenario to do, like, let me take your car, let me go get a gun, let me go prepare myself for potential problems down the road. I know there's a scene where, like, the guy who's in the black sedan is actually leaving Reacher and Neekly's hotel, and he calls his boss, which is I forgot his name. He was from Peacemaker. He was like Peacemaker's dad. I forgot his name. The white dragon. Was it White Dragon? I forgot. White something. I forget the name of it already. But yeah, but it's him. It's cool. It's like, you know, this guy's like already when I first saw him in Peacemaker, I was like, yeah, you a villain. This case, yeah, you a villain. Not really much said and done over on that front. So I want to say, so Reacher decides to go find a gun. And that's basically, he has to find a gun legally. In New York City, you cannot get a gun without a license. And since, you know, Reacher doesn't seem to have that many connections besides legally, decides like, okay, well, who would have guns? Drug dealers. Where can I find drug dealers? He goes to a church, asks the priest. He's like, yeah, down way across the street. So Reacher does so, like, crashes into them with the car, fights off two of them with relative ease. Like, he doesn't even crack a stride. Takes the gun from their pocket, throws the drugs away, and takes their money. Which I'm like, I don't know how you explain that to your superior, like whoever the drug king is. Like, yeah, some random big ass dude crashed into us in his car, beat our asses, took everything from us. Like, I don't know how you explain that without dying. I really don't know, and I feel sorry for those two people. Even as like consolidation for giving him the tip, Reacher gives the priest who give him all the information, the money from the drug deal, as kind of like, you know, a donation for your goodwill. Which I'm like, damn, that's kind of like one of the most like honest Good Samaritan acts I've ever seen in my life. So he regroups with Neekly back at the hotel. Neekly finds her apartment her hotel room completely trashed as well. So they know that they're there. They search around the place. They do find one of their other members, which I want to say he is from Krypton, but I don't remember what his character was. I know he was like I forget the character. It's been so long since I watched since I watched Krypton, but I know he's one of the main characters. I remember that front. But so he's there. He was apparently on like a sabbatical retreat with his wife, so he was not able to, like, you know, answer the phone call when Neekly was calling earlier, but now he is. He's here to help, get a little revenge, avenging his fallen brother. They connect the flash drive to the laptop, but sadly it's on a 2-minute timer where if they do not include the correct password, it will self-destruct and will be transferred to another device for safekeeping. And they only get 3 tries for the password, which, again, Richard's like, I hate passwords. I really, really do. They try guessing, they get nothing, and they just like, Neekly just thinks like, what if he named his password after you? He's like, he better have not, and he did. And Richard's like, oh my god, this man had a man crush on me. OMG. So they look inside. It doesn't really contain much info. It has a bunch of names, some photos, some random numbers. That's about it. So whatever this case he was working on was either very bare bones, or he encrypted it so much so that no one, like not even no one, could figure out what the hell he was up to. Without any choice, they decide, well, we need to get another member of the team in order. So, which is ironic that there's one in Queens that they can meet up right now. Which I'm like, damn, how many of your team decides to live in New York City? Like, of all people, like, this is really coincidental. Like, so far it's only 2 people, but like, still a couple times too many. Like, just coincidental of just how close you all are. So yeah, so they head over there. They find the house like kind of like not been open for a while. Sadly, the dog passed away. It was the guy with the guitar from the flashbacks. His dog sadly was left alone. So whoever took this guy was like, it was a while ago. So he's missing, which again, something's clearly wrong. If you got one person dead, one person missing, it's clear as day that whoever's really responsible for this, it's after the team specifically. Why specifically? Who are they specifically? Honestly, these are all pretty good questions, and that's where kind of we leave off this first episode with like, okay, it's this time it's personal, which I'm like, I'm sorry for being very corny with that line. But honestly, this was such a great episode. It really was. Again, getting back into Jack's world, like getting more into like his own history. How does that really affect him nowadays with like just whatever's going on in his life? It's gonna play good kudos to it. I like the fact that like they kind of distance themselves from Margrave. Like it's been a while, which I'm like, yeah, it's not your traditional like, oh, it's been 1 year. No, it's been almost 3 years of Reacher kind of living in like his pseudo peace environment, which I'm like, oh, that's great. That's interesting, mind you. The overall concept of the mystery, again, like the special investigators, that definitely gives us some more leeway to like how was Reacher's upbringing. I want to say this was his last stretch before he retired. I want to say, so if we do get that explanation, it's like why he specifically left, that'll be interesting to see. Because again, like, when you have a stoic, quiet character as your main protagonist, all you want to know is like, I want to know more about this character. I want to know exactly everything I can about this character because he's cool. He's great. But obviously Negan tagging along from like a much more main character perspective, because like last season she was kind of like she was there at times just to help out Reacher from a distance, but like this time she's like front and center, so we'll give much more great banter and everything, great dynamics to be had. So I can't wait to see where all this is going to go. But overall, this was just a solid season premiere, solid start to hopefully a greater season 2, better than the first one. And also, this is the first time in a while where like, we're already renewed for season 3, which I'm like, that's great. That's really, really great. I can't wait to see, what more, adventures that Jack gets to go on after this. But like, that's in the future for now. But no spoilers attached. But like, can't wait for that. But let me know in the comments below what you think of this season premiere for Reacher. I'd love to hear your comments down below about it. I'd love to have a discussion with you about it. But I believe it's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Tube from ActionX, reviewing the entire second season of Reacher. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's the Tube besides our Reacher episode reviews, that's all we're doing right now. We got some Doctor Who on the way. We got some other smaller stuff coming out. But, stay tuned for that. But if you don't care about Reacher, you're in luck. We'll be back in the next few days for more episode reviews. The first 3 episodes dropped. So playing a little bit of catch up here. Got a lot to work with. So expect a lot of content coming up for the next few days on Reacher. But, so see you in a couple days from now. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring the bell and follow us on social media. But until then, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.